Can you look at the prelim syllabus? What was the syllabus is saying? Every word is important in syllabus. Okay. General issues on environmental ecology, comma, biodiversity, comma, climate change. Okay. இதுக்கு அப்புறம் வர்ற வேர்டு தான் மோஸ்ட் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். என்னது? That do not require subject specialization. Is it very clear? Okay, see, very clearly UPSC is giving you a hint. என்ன hint கொடுக்குது? First எடுத்ததுமே general issues. It did not say specific issues. ஏன்னா இந்த பேப்பரே என்ன பேப்பர்? General studies paper. You need to have basic understanding of what? Environment, ecology, biodiversity and climate change. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to become a scientist. புரியுதா? நம்ம ஆளுங்க என்னன்னா சிலபஸை பார்க்காததுனால தான் we don't know where to stop in our preparation. What depth we need அப்படிங்கிறது நமக்கு தெரியாம போறதுக்கு காரணமே என்னது? We don't go through the syllabus. Is it very clear? நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிட்டே இருப்போம்? We'll be digging for facts after facts after facts. We try to become what? Expert in that. That is not needed. UPSC expects a generalist. A common basic understanding of environment, ecology, climate change, biodiversity is needed. You don't have to become a MS Swaminathan or Madhav Gadgil or what? Kasturi Rangan. You don't have to become. Seriya? You just have to be a generalist. Basic அது படிச்சா புரிஞ்சா போதும். அதான் முக்கியம். So general issues on environment, ecology, biodiversity, climate change that do not need subject specialization. So what does it mean? Technical knowledge is not needed. You are getting it? Specialization means what? Technical knowledge. You don't have to have what? Technical knowledge. That is what UPSC is explaining through the syllabus. You are getting it? For an example, I'll tell you. General issues. Seriya? General issue. For an example, can I say water pollution is a general issue? Can I say water pollution is a general issue? Now what you have to do? What syllabus expects? Just have to know what are the causes of water pollution. What are the causes of water pollution? What are the impact of water? Water pollution. What is the solution for water? Water pollution. Now there is a concept called bioremediation. Have you heard of it? There is a thing called what? Bioremediation. ஒன்னும் இல்ல, bacteria எல்லாம் இருக்குல்ல, they'll put water, a bacteria which used to decompose the waste. You're getting it or not? If a pond is water extremely dumped with a lot of waste, okay, you don't have to go and clean it physically. Then now there is water. You can water. You have bacteria. You can put that bacteria. That bacteria will water destroy and decompose that water. Water, the pollutant in that lake, the waste in the lake. Okay, so the lake become water better. So now what is mean by bioremediation? You should know basic. What is mean by bioremediation? What is the name of water? The bacteria that is used for what? This bioremediation. Just know the name of water. Bacteria. Is it? Don't go into what is the genetic makeup of that bacteria. That is not needed. Purida, you should know what is the bacteria that is used. You should know what is mean by bioremediation. But what you should not know, what you don't have to know, how that bacteria is being created by the scientist. Okay, what is the DNA molecule structure of water? That water bacteria. None of that is our business. Is it very clear? You should know where we have to stop. Okay, you don't have to what? Read how scientists identified a bacteria as a bioremediation bacteria, how actually it breaks the structure. None of that you don't have to. Clear with this? So this is what? Knowing where to stop, because the syllabus clearly say no subject specialization, no technical knowledge. Clear? Ana bioremediation nave ennu theriyalana prachana. That is mistake. Clear with this? This is with respect to your prelims. Seriya? Likewise, when it comes to your mains, can you find it in your GS paper 3? In your general studies paper 3, there will be a line called conservation, environmental pollution, degradation, environment impact assessment. Can you find that? GS paper 3 la irka. Conservation. Conservation means what? Forest Conservation Act. Okay, like environment protection, wildlife protection, all these things. Conservation. Okay, environmental pollution and degradation, how environment is degraded, different forms of pollution. Okay, all these things. And then most important thing in the environment impact assessment. Environment impact. This is your mains. Every year 2 to 3 questions will definitely come from what? This environment, ecology, climate change, geography, current affairs area in your GS paper 3. So 3 questions means even if each question carries 15 marks, close to 45 marks. Okay, 1/5 of your paper 3 comes from what? This 1/5. You're getting it? 250 marks. Close to what? 45 marks will be there on what? Environment ecology. So almost close to what? 1/5. Okay. So again, with respect to mains also, you cannot what? Ignore this subject. Clear? So far what I explained is why we are reading environment. That's all I have explained. What is the significance of this environment ecology in our what? Exam. That's what I have explained. Clear with this? Now, with respect to this subject, what are the reference material that I have to do? Okay, what I have to what? Study, sir. Abdina, na first day class notes. Anyone who have attended my any class know that I will refer only what? Class notes. Okay, I am not someone who suggests you to read what? Big books. My strategy for whatever subject it may be, minimum reading, maximum output. Okay, more you minimize your material, greater the chance of you to clear this exam. Okay, those people who used to keep library in their house, they don't even clear prelims. This is the reality. Okay, they can what? Show to their what? Family members, show to what? Their relatives that they are sincere about this UPSC exam, but what? It's not the case. Is it very clear? So to crack this exam, you don't have to have library in your house. Okay, I have seen people with what? Less than 10 books for the entire UPSC prelims and mains cracking this exam. But they do rigorous notes for themselves. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so class notes very important. Why I am saying class notes is very important is when you write something in class. Okay, when you make some, even when I dictate, when you write something, okay, I will be giving explanation to them. So whatever you have written will have some meaning to it. Without understanding, you will not write. Is it very clear? But if you read some random XYZ book, what it will do? You have to read, you have to understand by yourself. But here what we are doing in class, I'll first explain the concept, then you will be writing it, running notes. Sometimes I will dictate. So what you will do? You will, whatever you have written in your notes will be full of understanding. And I as a person give lot of emphasis on understanding rather than memorizing. You are getting it or not? Only when you understand you can crack this exam. That is the difference between board exam and your UPSC civil service exam. Renduku difference in there. You are not reading anything new. You are reading same thing what you read in your what? Secondary education. You are getting it or not? Primary education means secondary education varingla. NCERT தான படிக்கிறீங்க. 6 to 12 NCERT தான படிக்கிறீங்க. Secondary education தான் நீங்க பண்றது. Only difference is there you read it without understanding. Here you are reading it with understanding. That is the only difference. You are not reading anything very what? Special, intellectual, nothing. Okay, we are reading school stuff with understanding. அவ்வளவுதான். Okay, அதுதான் நான் I would say this. But ஆனாலும் எனக்கு தெரியும் students will every now and then will come and what? Torture me, sir. So where are you reading this, sir? How are you saying this, sir? Tell me the book source, sir. நான் சொல்லுவேன் I am not reading any book னு சொல்லுவேன். ஆனாலும் நம்ப மாட்டாங்க. So நான் கொடுத்துறேன் book. படிக்க வேணாம்னு சொல்லி கொடுக்கிறேன். அதுக்கு மேல உங்க விருப்பம். You are getting it? I am saying very clearly, you don't buy this book, you don't have to have this book. But even then, if you are what? Mind, your heart is not ready to accept that reality, means you buy it and you keep it. That's all I can say. Okay, the book is A famous book for what? This environment is Shankar IAS Academy's what? Environment book. It's a handbook which is in everyone's hand, which is of, I can't say that in camera, right? Fine. You don't have to read that. Okay. Yes. Okay. And another source, those people who don't read what? The Shankar environment book, they will be reading what? PMF IAS environment book, which is nothing but cut, copy, paste of Shankar IAS Academy. Cut, copy, paste. Nothing is only difference. Adil ning paaklanna Shankar IAS Academy books, the pictures that will be there, it will be in black and white. In PMF IAS, it will be in color. That is the only difference. Apart from that, both are one and the same. Cut, copy, paste. Is it very clear? And why I am asking you not to read that book is, this is a book published by Shankar IAS Academy. Okay. And Shankar, who is no more, okay, good, like what, a sound person who had a good command over his subject, no doubt about it. He himself comes from an agriculture background. Okay. Like what? And Shankar IAS Academy, that book is mainly published for people who prepare exclusively for Indian Forest Service exam. So it will be with great depth. You are getting my point? And that is not needed for what? Civil services exam. Okay. Unfortunate thing is that book is a good book. If you buy it, you don't know how to use that book for what? Civil services exam. That is the problem. You are getting my point? There is nothing wrong in that book. You are getting it? It's only how we make use of that book is a problem. What we do? We tend to what? Read everything line by line. We read everything. We think everything is important without going to what? PYQs. Only when you analyze the PYQs, you will understand what sort of questions UPSC is asking. Right? Only when you know what sort of questions UPSC is asking, you can use that material to address that demand. Unfortunately, we don't do that. So, we just read the book from cover to cover. Okay, we memorize it. Even something we don't understand, we'll memorize it. Then the problem comes. Then you are compounding your own problem. You are getting it? So these two books is a very famous book. Another Shankar IAS Academy, another PMF IAS. I have read both the books. You don't have to read it. And none of this book helped me in any of the preliminary exam that I have written. Sharia. None of this book have helped me in any of the mains exam that I have written. Okay, then only I found this book is not that relevant for our what? Exam, because I identified how UPSC like what have changed its pattern, how they are asking question again. I'll tell you the trick and all. I'll tell you. Don't worry. Clear with this? If people who don't read these two books, they read another book, okay, by Rajagopalan. Environment by what? Rajagopalan or Rajagopalan. Again, I'm saying you don't have to read that book also. Okay. Sir, apart from class, then I don't have to read anything. No, you have to read something. What are they? I'll tell you. You have to read a magazine called Kurukshetra. You have to read a magazine. Okay, monthly magazine called as what? Kurukshetra. Okay, I would advise you people to subscribe to that. I think yearly it would be what? Some 300 or 400 rupees yearly. Okay, it will be just a 60 to 80 page booklet. Okay, that's all it would be. Every month it will be delivered to your house itself, your address itself. Okay, maybe it's a government publication, so it may reach 10 days, 15 days, or sometimes you will get 2 months edition at same month. That there is 2 government departments is involved. One is what? PIB, okay, Press Bureau of India. You're getting it, or you're getting it. And another thing is what? The Indian Postal Department. And one government department and now you have 2 government departments. So like what? So sometimes you will receive what? 2 months magazine at a time. Okay, but that's what you can do, right? You can get it. Okay, if you are not comfortable with that, you can also get a digital version of it. You can download the PDF of it, and also you can what? Read it. Okay, if you are very particular about what you need that particular source on a particular time, then you can go for what? Downloading. Okay, yes, you will get it. And what is the best thing about this Kurukshetra magazine is, if for an example this January month magazine comes out, Abdina, that month magazine will have 80 pages or 60 to 80 pages, which will have some 8 to 10 articles. It will have 8 to 10 articles. That's all it will have. Okay. In all 8 to 10 articles will talk about only one particular topic. It will not talk about various topics. For an example, January month means if it talks about soil degradation, then that entire book talks only about soil degradation. You are getting it? The next month, if it talks about rural electrification, it talks only about rural electrification. Is it very clear? So what it does, if you read that magazine, if you can make notes out of it, if you know the PYQ, the trend of UPSC, and if you can make notes out of it, you consolidate that what a 60 page or 80 page into what a 5-page notes, and if you can keep it, if you can revise it every month, any question that comes on that what soil degradation, you can answer it from that particular what notes that you have made. You can well and truly manage within what that. Okay, but it is a slightly laborious process. You have to read, you have to understand, you have to make notes. But if you do that, it will definitely reap you good dividend in your what exam. Is it very clear? Many people don't do that. Many people want to what search for glamour here and there. You're getting it? I'm reading this article, that article, that article. No, but nothing will be consolidated into a source, notes circle. Ellame newspaper la padichu they will just leave. Okay, it would look what very fashionable glamour, but at the end of the day, it doesn't solve the purpose. But the thing that I'm saying, Kurukshetra, reading Kurukshetra will be old fashioned. Okay, but it will work. Is it very clear? That's what you have to understand. This you can do, and then you can do. I'll tell you an official website. Official website of Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change. Okay, it's called www.wienvis.gov.in. Okay, for authentic information, what you can do, you have to rely on this website. You are getting it? Again, I am using the word very carefully, authentic. What is authentic may not be accurate. Adu vera. We are not bothered about accuracy. We are only bothered about what? Authenticity. Is it very clear? Now, when a train accident takes place, 200 பேர் செத்துருப்பான். ஆனா government report என்ன சொல்லும்? 120 people have lost their life. You are getting it? ஆனா government சொல்றது authentic. அது accurate இல்லையாங்கிறது நமக்கு தேவையே இல்லை. But that is what? Authentic. You are getting it? You will get authentic source from what? These things. You can take data, and what you can do is your tablet or your computer, whatever it may be, you can what bookmark all these what important websites in your what browser. So once in a week you have to click that bookmarks and check for updates. If you find any updates, read it, take notes, make a like what proper notes for environment. That's how you have to improve your subject. Is it very clear? That is what it is. And then I'll tell you another thing. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration website. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration website. Okay, and then finally what I'm saying, ipo na sonadala mandatory. Whatever I said is mandatory. These websites are mandatory. What I'm saying now is optional. Of course, that book is optional kuda illa. That is not needed. I'm saying I'm not even keeping that in what option. Not needed, but doing it. Ana kadasi apna solradhu optional. Down to Earth magazine. Down to Earth magazine. Again, when you are reading this Down to Earth magazine, the best way to read, I would suggest, is rather than reading in isolation, do you people collaborate in your preparation? Do you people collaborate in your preparation? Do you have a small groups, study groups among yourself? We 4 of us will adukalla illa padam paakuradhukku idukku idukella oru group illa. Seri, right, fine, whatever. Appadi irundichina enna pannalana, it's highly impossible to track all the articles for everyone to track it. So if you are collaborating among yourself, so what you can do, like all of you can read few articles, okay, you can split the burden of reading some articles, and if you find that article relevant, you can tell to your friends also, so that they will read. If you find that article is not relevant, then you can ignore it. Okay, so if you find some important article, then you can share it among yourself. That's the best way. Not to read this every month magazine down to earth, cover to cover. Don't read that. That is not needed. Okay, you go through it, skim and skip through it. If you find relevance of that article in your syllabus or in your PYQs, then only you read that. Otherwise, you just ignore it. That's all I would say. Is it very clear? Never use Wikipedia. That's the number one company. Puruncha? It is a open source. Anyone can do any bullshit on that. You're getting it? Anyone can go and edit, change the content, and it will be there. Okay, don't do that actually. Okay, and that Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change website I told you, right? That's the most authentic website for national parks, biosphere reserve, wildlife sanctuaries, and so on. Okay, are the best website for referring to this. And another thing, don't study the newly discovered species. Especially don't read the newly discovered butterflies and frogs. Okay, there are more than lakhs of butterflies, there are more than lakhs of frog species are there. If you start reading that, your mind will go gumas. Okay, so don't read that. That's not needed at all. UPSC will not ask. Okay, udane enna பண்ணுவீங்க Hindu paperல a new lizard has been discovered in the Western Ghats. Okay, so what? This lizard is having a different strand like this. அப்படின்னு வந்து ஓகே இது இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் போல நியூஸ்ல எடுத்து எழுதாதீங்க, தயவு செய்து எழுதாதீங்க. PYQ பாருங்க, அப்படி ஒரு क्वेश्चनே வந்திருக்காது. You're getting it? இதான். So don't do that. Okay, there are thousands of species, so you don't have to read it. And there are thousands of discoveries every day. Every day 1000 species are discovered, which we don't have to read it at all. சரியா? இப்ப what I am going to do now அப்படினா, I have explained you the syllabus, I have explained you what are the materials that you have to do. Now I am going to deconstruct the syllabus. Okay, syllabus with respect to environment is not very detailed. Okay, both for prelims as well as for your mains. ஏன்னா prelims ல என்ன சொல்லிட்டான், general issues on environmental ecology, biodiversity, climate change which doesn't need subject specialization. அவ்வளவுதான். environmental ecology ல என்ன படிக்கணும்னு சொல்லல, biodiversity ல என்ன பண்ணணும், climate change ல என்ன பண்ணணும் பெரிய அளவுக்கு சொல்லல. புரியுதா? அதே மாதிரி general studies paper 3 ல என்ன பண்ணிருக்கான், conservation, environmental pollution, degradation, okay, environment impact assessment, but how it has to be done, it has not been said. So what I'll do is I'll divide the syllabus into 3. I'll divide the syllabus into 3 parts. Okay, ecology, ecosystem. Ecology, ecosystem 1. Biodiversity is another. Biodiversity is another. Okay, ecology, ecosystem, biodiversity, global warming and climate change. இப்படிதான் மூணா பிரிக்கிறோம். ஓகேவா? இப்ப இதுல if you look at this ecology, ecosystem or something like that, you look at this. Okay, every year you will be getting somewhere around 3 to 4 questions. இதுல எவ்வளவு questions வரும்? Minimum 3 to 4 questions comes from this area. Okay, 3 to 4 questions. And biodiversity irukla, you will be getting 10 to 12 questions. Okay, and when it comes to climate change, it is important only for your mains. Prelims la only current affairs. If there is a climate change summit or if there is a some important event, apart from current affairs, UPSC doesn't trouble much in global warming and climate change in your prelims. It is a topic which is dared by UPSC with respect to its mains. Puruncha. But when it comes to biodiversity and environment, I mean ecology and ecosystem, prelims. சரியா, இப்போ இதுல என்ன விஷயம்னா, this ecology ecosystem part இருக்குல்ல, okay, the questions will be more applied in nature. Okay, inga questions will be more applied in nature. Is it very clear? So since the questions are more applied in nature, reading from the book is not the wise thing to do. புரியுதா? ஏன்னா UPSC nowadays is not asking straightforward questions. Okay, questions on this ecology and ecosystem part will always be applied, application based questions. And since application based question are karnala, what will book reading from book will not help you. So books will help you only to have a basic knowledge, basic understanding, and you need to have ability to apply that concepts. That's where class comes in hand. That's why I'm saying books will not come in hand. And remember, but it is the most static part. What is environment, what is ecosystem, what is mean by biome, what is mean by ecology, what is mean by biosphere, the definition la irukla, these definitions are not going to change. This is the static part. You are getting it? It is the static part. Now UPSC is not bothered about that static part. You should know the static part, but the questions will come from what? Application of that static part. Adanaladhaan, if you read from books only, if you stick to book, it will not help you. Is that very clear? You are getting it? And remember, almost why I am asking you not to read any of the book. ஏன் நான் உங்களை book எதுவும் படிக்க வேணாம்னு சொல்றேன். The simple reason why I am asking you not to read the book என்னன்னா, you take any book. Does any one of you have environment ecology book with you? என்ன book இது? கொடுங்க. I'll take. இது என்ன புதுசா இருக்குது? ஓ, இது PMF IAS தானா? சரி, ரைட், ஃபைன். Okay, see, if you take this book or any book for environment, this is a static part. These things are keeps on changing. Okay, now this book publisher will not be able to publish this book every year. He will not be able to publish this book every 6 months. Okay, but things are always changing. But this publisher cannot publish this book every 6 months, every year. He will revise it only 3 years once or 4 years once. So, but this is changing. So what he does? He wanted to make this book he will give more emphasis on static part of the syllabus. Only then this book will remain relevant. You are getting my point or not? So if you take any environment related book, almost if you say 300-400 pages of book, 250 pages will be devoted to edukku mattum dhaan, environment ecology mattum dhaan. Yana this is the static part. You are getting it? And how many questions you are getting? 3 to 4. You are getting? You are reading 400 page book. Out of that 400 page book, 250 or 300 page book will be devoted to ecology ecosystem. That too static part of it. And from the entire ecosystem ecology itself, you will get only 3 to 4 questions. And that too 3 to 4 question also doesn't come from static part. It comes from the application part. What is the use of reading this book? That's my simple question. Only use of reading this book is basic understanding of what is what. That I am going to give you in class itself. Then why you have to read this? That's my simple question. So where you have to spend more time? You have to spend more time on 10 to 12 questions. Okay, but How much pages are there in this book for 10 to 12 questions that you get? Very less. And whatever content that is given in this book is also not that important. Why? It is outdated. Because it is what? Very dynamic in nature. Now what is the use of this book? That's my simple question actually. Okay, you have to judge the importance of book like that only, right? Yes. So see, but Anna, even though you have 3 to 4 questions, listen, even though you have 3 to 4 questions, 100% you have to get this 3 to 4 questions correct. No scope for error. You cannot make mistake in this part at all. Because why you can't make mistake? Why you are not allowed to make mistake? It is a static part. If at all UPSC asks a question, okay, even if it is application based, you should not miss this. As a cricketer, when you are facing a new ball, will you miss the full toss? If you miss the full toss, then what? You are missing an opportunity. Similar to that, it is you have to pocket it. Is it very clear? So that's what I'm saying. Mistakes in this part is not at all allowed. Okay, don't worry, I'll make you completely clear with the concepts of this part. Right. Second part, the 10 to 12 question. So just limited reading, but I'll get 10 to 12 question. Abdina interesting, okay, happy na, the most dangerous. The most dangerous part. Environment ecology most dangerous part is the biodiversity part. It consists of lot of things. See, this is application based questions. Application based questions. Is it very clear? When it comes to biodiversity, you need to have concept. You should be good in what? Concepts. Okay, then you have conventions. Lot of conventions. See, first you should know what is biodiversity. Concept. You should know what is biodiversity, different types of biodiversity, what is species diversity, what is genetic diversity. There are many concepts, lot of concepts. You should be very good at that concept. Then, how this biodiversity is to be conserved? There are a lot of conventions. Conventions to what? Conserve. Okay, conventions to conserve. Is that very clear? For an example, I'll tell you. Chuma solra. CBD. Convention on Biological Diversity. Convention on Biological Diversity. Is it very clear? Then you have Ramsar Convention. Is it very clear? Then you have Sendai Framework. On disaster risk reduction. Ismari, you will be having what? Lot of conventions. Convention on biodiversity, convention on what? Wetlands. Ramsar Convention is what? Convention on wetlands. Now to implement this conventions, you will have lot of what? Protocols. Okay. Convention implement pannuna, you need to have lot of protocol. Irukal. See, convention on ozone depletion. Nyavarka ozone depleting substance convention. Okay. Vienna Convention in solluvaanga there. Do you remember that? Vienna Convention. Now to implement Vienna Convention, you have what? Montreal Protocol. You are getting my point or not? So here you have Montreal Protocol, Aichi Protocol, Nagoya Protocol. Is it very clear? Cartagena Protocol. மான்ட்ரியல் எங்க இருக்கு? இங்க தான் ஜியோகிராஃபி வரும். கனடா. நகோயா எங்க இருக்கு? மேப் பார்த்தோம், ஜியோகிராஃபில மேப் பார்த்துருக்கோம். ஜப்பான். கார்டாஜினா எங்க இருக்கு? ஸ்பெயின். இதுதான் விஷயம், புரியுதா? இது டக்குன்னு கனெக்ட் ஆனா இட் வுட் பி குட். மேப் எடுத்தாச்சு ஜியோகிராஃபில, மாஸ்டர் பண்ணுங்க. கிளியர்? sorry, concepts, conventions, and to implement what conventions you have what protocols. சரியா? அதுக்கப்புறம் you have method of conservation. மெத்தட் ரெண்டு இருக்கு. ஒன்னு இன் சித்து, இன்னொன்னு என்னது? ex situ conservation. Advantages of both: in situ conservation, ex situ conservation. Advantages, disadvantages of both. புரியுதா? Then you have lot of acts. Wildlife Protection Act, okay, Environmental Protection Act. புரியுதா? Is it very clear? Lot of acts are there. Then what is the difference between wildlife sanctuary, national park, biosphere reserve? Puruncha, you have to read this. Then you have to read about hotspots. You have to read about hotspots. In India there are 3 hotspots. Biodiversity hotspots இந்தியால 3 இருக்கு. என்னது? இண்டோ பர்மா hotspot ன்னு சொல்வாங்க, that is Purvanchal region. Then you have Himalayan hotspot, then Western Ghats hotspot. India has 3 hotspots. Okay, now you may ask, Andaman and Nicobar is part of Sundaland hotspot. Sundaland means what? Indonesia. Indonesia hotspot. சரியா? அது. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஃபைனலா soil and biodiversity. Soil and biodiversity. So you have lot of things to read in what? Biodiversity. Lot of facts. You have to keep in mind lot of facts actually. Concepts are also there, facts are also there. And why I said it is the most dangerous area? Because the definition of ecosystem will not change. Correct? What is ecosystem? It will remain the same. What is what? Ecology definition will not change. Static part. You're getting it? But as per Wildlife Protection Act, tiger may be kept as Annexure 1 species. If you don't track the current affairs very properly, you will never come to know if tiger have been shifted from Annexure 1 to Annexure 2. You will not. Is it very clear? Forest Rights Act is there. Forest Rights Act is there. Tendu leaves is there. Whether tendu leaf is a major forest product or a minor forest product. It's a minor forest product. That's why it is allowed to be what? Used in bead making industry. Okay, சொல்லிருக்கேன்ல geography-ல. At some point of time, government may what? Declare tendu. And the act la changes kondu varalam. Vanda, if you don't track the current affairs, you will go what? You will get lost. Purida how tricky it is ne? It is factual. Of course concepts are there, but along with concepts there are a lot of facts are there. Inge concepts and facts change agadu. Static. It is very dynamic. Okay, bamboo irukla. Bamboo என்னது? It is a grass variety. Okay, is it a forest product? Is it a forest product? In major part of India, it is considered as forest product, which means it cannot be what? Commercially cultivated and it cannot be used. But on a northeast India, it is exempted from being a forest product, which means what? Northeast India, people can cultivate bamboo and can what? Sell it, commercialize it. But on the rest of the country, அது அப்படி கிடையாது. So what? You have to look into the nuances. புரியுதா? This is the dangerous area and most questions comes from this area. நான் திரும்பவும் நான் சொல்லிடுறேன், whatever I teach will help you in arriving at an answer in your exam hall. Questions directly will not come from what I am teaching. You are getting this point or not? With respect to what? Environment, ecology, climate change part, my class lecture will help you to narrow down answer. Don't expect a direct question. You will not get direct question anyway. எந்த இதுலயுமே கிடைக்காது. புரிஞ்சா? If anyone is saying that, just listen to my lecture, okay, just read my notes, you will clear this exam, he is fooling around you. That's all I can say. Clear with this? அடுத்தது global warming, climate change, what? It is full mains, and we have already dealt lot in what? Geography also. Okay, how global warming is caused, what is the solution, we'll deal. Anyhow, we'll be what? Dealing with that also. Not important for prelims. Only time when it becomes important for prelims is, for an example, Paris Climate Accord. When that Paris climate change is summit is taking place, during that time, when that summit is taking place, at that particular time, what will happen? What are the changes? Okay, what is India's contribution? What is India's commitment to Paris Climate Accord? Okay, that kind of questions only you will get. Inge, with respect to what? Climate change. Apart from that, nothing. Full mains. Is it very clear? Impact of climate change. We have already read about what? Melting glaciers. The third pole glaciers are melting. Do you remember that? The Indra Sal peak is what? Visible in human history for the first time. We have studied that. Okay, that will make what? Rivers swell, flood, okay, drought, desertification, okay, reduces the sea surface temperature, increases the water level, photic zones will become aphotic zones. Lot of things what we have done, we have dealt. Is that very clear? So adalla anga, but irundhalum there are some areas which I have to talk in what? This environment ecology class separately, which I will do. சரியா? So is this understanding of syllabus very clear?